And this promo I really wanted to see after I heard about it. Oh, God. R-Truth is backstage talking to the Mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart also makes his pay-per-view return about a conspiracy. Hart says Truth needs someone to take him to the top. Jimmy talks about managing the Honky Tonk Man, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Hart Foundation, and others. Hart says Truth needs someone like him because he got to think big. Truth accuses Hart of being a little Jimmy, and then he turns around and becomes a little Jimmy, which is actually kind of funny. But the next match is SmackDown's Money in the Bank winner Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett. The match starts out with Barrett in total control. Bryan comes back and works on Barrett's arm. Barrett drops him with a right hand, gets a 1 count. Bryan comes back and dropkicks Barrett and another dropkick and a 2 count. Barrett fights back with a body shot and takes Bryan to the corner. Barrett beats Bryan down with right hands. Bryan comes back and hits dropkick to the face in the corner. 2 count by Bryan. Bryan locks in a surfboard submission. Bryan comes up with more kicks and another 2 count. Bryan lands on his feet at the top rope and runs to the ropes. Barrett catches Bryan, the big side slam for a 2 count. Barrett mounts Bryan in right hands now. Barrett slingshots Bryan to the top rope and drops with another 2 count. Barrett with a chin lock now. Bryan eventually comes back for a bulldog and uppercuts. Barrett stops him with a flying forearm and another 2 count. Barrett uses the ropes on Bryan and hits him with several knees to the head. Barrett sends Bryan over the top and down to the floor with a big boot. Barrett brings Bryan back to the ring for another 2 counts. Barrett hit the lock now, back and forth action. Bryan sends Barrett flying onto the apron to the fan barrier. Bryan runs to the apron and hits Barrett on the floor with a knee to the head. Bryan brings it back to the ring and goes up top. Bryan with a dropkick to the face with another 2 count. Barrett comes with a big slam, but Bryan rolls back and comes with kicks, sending Barrett to the mat. Bryan hits Barrett with several hard kicks as he's on his knees. The final kick to the head lets Barrett out, but he kicks out at 2. Bryan charges the corner but Barrett moves. Barrett drops him with a big boot. Barrett goes for a waistland, but Bryan fights out with elbows. Bryan applies a submission and brings Barrett back to the mat. Bryan turns on the label block. Barrett goes to the ropes and breaks a hold. Bryan with more swift kicks now. Bryan takes Barrett to the top. Barrett shoves him off, and Bryan lands to the top ropes between his legs. Barrett flies out to clotheslines Bryan. Barrett goes for a waistland and nails at the time. Barrett goes with a pin in the win for your winner, Wade Barrett. And we get a special introduction for the members of the California National Guard who are sitting at ringside. And then they go to the promo for the matches I did see. That was a long-ass time there to do that. But for the World Heavyweight title, it was a no-holds-barred match, and it was basically like a fucking no-holds-barred match. I can't really describe it for you guys. You have to watch pay-per-view to figure that out, what I mean by that. But what I mean by that is constant weapons. They even used the steel steps at one point, which led to Christian's demise, and Christian got an RKO on the steps, making him lose the world title. And I'll just use the format a little bit longer just because of the video packages, and then it goes after the match. Orton celebrates the world title and goes to replace with the match. We go to a video package from highlights from this weekend's SummerSlam Access event and the other related WWE events in Los Angeles, just for example, the Be a Star event and the red carpet. The camera catches Triple H and Stephanie McMahon coming backstage to the hallway. Triple H walks off and gives Stephanie a kiss for the main event. And then they just show a video package. But for this matchup, for the undisputed WWE title, it was amazing. Hell, Triple H did an amazing job as referee. I actually thought it would be rigged at one point, but it wasn't. Constant interaction with the fan. It was probably almost as good as the Chicago fans in Money in the Bank, but I can't I can't really compare both of them because of a totally different environment for both events. But CM Punk basically got out of every hold Cena had, and Cena even did a dropkick at one point. Cena and Punk were about to be counted out, but Triple H, at a 9 count, came out of the ring, put him back in, ensuring that we will not see a double count out, and especially for a unification and undisputed title match. because I think both champions would keep their belts. But it was amazing. Even Punk did a Randy Savage elbow, but Cena Nels does it like the faggot he is. But then Cena, it's just constant back and forth. Which I hate to use chain wrestling for Cena, but it was pretty much actually pretty decent for Cena. But, Punk's once it hits a GTS and becomes your undisputed champion. But unfortunately, this does have controversy, as during the pinfall, John Cena's foot, and I hate to say this, but John Cena's foot was indeed under the bottom rope. The foot was on the bottom rope, and Triple H did not see it. Unfortunately for Cena, you got screwed, bitch. But unfortunately, we knew this would not happen, as they did not reverse the decision. But out of nowhere, Kevin Nash comes out and hits a jackknife powerbomb. Triple H turns around and is like, what? What the fuck happened here? Oh. But then Del Rio comes out and cashes in the Money in the Bank ladder match, the briefcase, which I thought would happen. And, automatic WWE title match. And this is the shortest match ever, to be honest. I'll just read the fucking thing. Del Rio comes out with the referee to cash in the Money in the Bank. Del Rio hits an instant to the head and causes him to become the new WWE champion. It was that quick. Just like that. But Del Rio would be your undisputed champion now, I am assuming. But unfortunately, both champions were screwed tonight. Overall, I mean, I didn't see most of it, so I can't really judge it, but it looked pretty good from what I saw. I just gotta say what will happen on Raw. We'll figure out tomorrow night.